One of the hardest parts in the scherzo is the chorale section. There's lots of ways you can practice this, and you've really got to just practice it over and over and over and over in as many different ways as possible. Don't just repeat the same way. And what I want to do this tutorial is give you some ideas of ways you can practice this flowing little section to help make it easier. First thing you've got to do is really work on the left hand and work out the patterns and shapes and the fingerings you're going to use. It's just a series of common chords. The first one's in D flat major. Got this. So I'm using standard fingering, 5, 3, 2, 1. Here I'm using 4, and then 3, 3, and 3. You've got to use whatever fingering suits your hand, so don't just necessarily follow what I do. Try a few different things. Maybe 4s might work in other places. Repeat that over and over until it becomes really comfortable. The next thing you can do with your left hand is split the two parts up. So 1 and 3, 2 and 5. 1 and 4, 2 and 5. Definitely use the pedal while you're doing this as well, and make it much more pleasant. If you want, you can then try breaking up the chords slowly at first. Faster as you get more comfortable. So there's your main ways. Block chords, then split, and then arpeggiated. And the same with the right hand. First thing, block the chords. I tend to use 3 here, 1, 2, 3, 5, and then I use 5 and 4 on all the other ones. But you could just as easily use 4, 4, 4. I wouldn't encourage using 5 twice. It just tends to be a bit of a slow finger to move, unless you can move it very quickly. I would use 5 and 4. So, block chords. And make sure you can do this quickly. And then we do the same thing, split the chords up. When you can do that, then breaking the chord up. Now when it comes to putting it together, I'd do it in a number of different steps. You could do it like this, but you're always sharing a note then, which is a little bit awkward. So I tend to move to this one first. However, it's also good to get a concept of the melody in your head, melody in the left hand. And the melody is this. So I would get used to playing this with the correct fingers. Sorry. So for me, 5, 3, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 3, 5, 4, 5, Or you might just want to do 5, 4, 5, 4. I just use 3 because it's a bit of a stronger finger, and I don't know, it just suits my hand in that position. So we play the melody. A great thing to do is do that with the left hand. As well, in block chords. And then you can do it with split chords in the left hand. And I would play the right hand, the melody, quite strongly. Having trouble, then these are the guys, the 5th and the 4th, that really need a lot of work in this, and they need to be brought out. So really use this time as a chance to build your confidence and strength in those fingers. When you can do that, we can do them both together. Do as well. When you can do that confidently, then I would arpeggiate one hand while still doing the pairs, the split chords in the left hand. So let's try that with the right hand. I'd recommend you can also do that with the left hand. So as written in the left hand, and just blocking in pairs in the right hand. When you're confident with doing that, I would then try it as written. Slowly. Now I'm not doing it as slowly as I would have when I first learnt it. This kind of speed would be great. And if you're having trouble, just do one section of it. Note, of course, if when you get to here, it's the pattern repeating again. Just changing the left hand at the bottom. It's the same as just down the octave. One of the hardest things to do is move from here to there. So I practiced that as well. And that joins the two patterns together. If all that's going well, then using some rhythms can help as well. And I use a number of those different rhythms. You could play it staccato. We could also accent different groups or different notes in each group. So we could accent the first one, or the second, third, or the last. Another great thing to do, as written left hand, just the melody notes, the 5th and the 4th finger, or 5th and the 3rd finger in the right hand. It will give your ear a sense of what it needs to hear when you do finally play it. Tricks is the last one, which is different, of course. We've got this, and it quite tricky to make sure you get that. So I would recommend, this is all the same, it's just the last one. So this is the start of the second pattern. Sorry to hear. So make sure your left hand's working strongly. This is the fingering I use, 1, 3, 2, 4, 5. It might be a bit of a stretch for some hands, you might want to try an alternative. Feels a bit weird, but it's the best way for me. And the right hand I end up on 2, 3, 5. So practicing that, a different bit, and then to there. That should get you through it. The other ones are very similar. Just approach them in the same way. Same process. And then you've got the one in G flat as well. And of course that's just the first set. Later on in the piece we get a B flat minor one, and then in the middle section we get the whole series in E major instead. So they all need work, but work in the same way and you're sure to have success. It will take time though. If you're unused to this kind of music, it's quite complex, it's quite difficult. Let it build. It may take some weeks for it to glide down the piano.